equally safe. Fire kills. You can prevent it.
A very good morning, Clive Hort on the radio. The morning get-together Monday to Friday here on Ignition Radio 9 till 12. Right, now, today, we have Jackie Firth from the Butterwick Hospice. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning.
Hey. And, of course, the Butterwick Hospice, a very famous charity. I mean, you know, you have shops in and about, but that's only part of your fundraising. So tell me, what is the Butterwick Trust and what does it do?
Okay, Butterwick Hospice has been around for 31 years now, started by our founder Mary Butterwick, OBE, who we very sadly lost at the end of September. But Mary started the charity because she lost her own husband to cancer back in 79. And her experience of that awful loss really inspired her to try and create a better way for people to experience end of life and for their families to experience better support. So that's how it came about, and the hospice has been around now since 1984, serving the people of Stockton and these days a much wider region as well.
And of course you have your one of your centres over by North Tees Hospital.
That's correct. Our Stockton Hospice is there, and also our Children's Hospice is there too. And we also have another hospice hub in Bishop Auckland, which serves the whole of the South Durham area.
Now, of course, you have to raise, you just told me, £4 million a year.
That's right.
And that's to keep all the hospices going?
That's correct. That's to fund all of the services. We are a registered charity. We do receive a small amount of statutory funding, which adds up to about 25% of the funds that we need to keep all of the services going each year. Yeah, it's a lot of money to find.
It certainly is. And of course, coming up towards Christmas, you'll be selling your Christmas raffle tickets, of which I do buy them.
Thank you very much.
And of course, you do fundraising in other ways as well?
Lots of other ways, every other way that you possibly can think of. We do lots of simple things, you know, such as the raffle tickets, and we create social events and challenge events for people to take part in. Obviously, we do have our high street shops, which we now have 13 shops where people can donate goods and buy goods from. We also have 2 weekly lotteries, where lottery number will cost you just £1 a week. And you can win up to £1,500 each week in the lottery, so that's great. And of course, just the overall community support is very, very important to us. You know, people just helping out in whichever way they can, or people organising small events at work, coffee mornings, cake bakes, car washes, things like that. You know, every little possible way helps.
And of course, the fact is that because of all these events that you organise, it all rounds up and it all brings the money in.
Yes, not just us organising them. There's a great deal of people within the communities that we serve who just do whatever they can, whatever they enjoy. You know, it could be something sporting, something social, whatever it is that they want to do to raise money for hospice services, and we're extremely grateful to everyone that helps us.
Of course, if you can just hear that in the distance, it's a rubbish lorry that's just come into... See, the thing is, I have the windows open because it gets quite warm in here, so I do apologise about that, Jackie. Right, now, of course, the fact is that raising lots of money, do you have any events coming up shortly?
There's about 10 this month, I think. So there's all kinds of things going on which you can find out about from the hospice website if you have web access. And you can find those at www.butterwick.org.uk. hospice.uk/events.
Right.
Or you can ring the fundraising office on 01642 628 930.
And of course, fundraising is an important part of getting the money for this charity. So you must be busy all throughout the year.
We are always busy raising the funds and always busy caring for local people as well. The hospice provides some fantastic services which are of the very highest quality you'll find anywhere in the country. Looking after patients and looking after the patients' families as well, which is one of the things that makes hospice care so very different. That a lot of the services are built around supporting patients' families. And looking after so many different types of patients these days as well. Patients with different diagnoses to what people traditionally think of as, the sort of things that hospice would care for.
And do you find that because you have such a wide range of ways that you care for youngsters, for adults and for older people, do you find that your services are much in need?
Absolutely, yes, all of the time. And, we would love really to be able to expand the services that we have and to provide more of them and, cover or address more of the needs in the community. But obviously, it's very specialised care and is expensive to provide. So, we're always looking for more and more support to be able to do more.
Of course.
Because we know that, the care that the doctors and nurses and the specialists that we employ provide do a fantastic job, and the families that come to us are so grateful for the support that they receive.
That's it, because it's all about support, isn't it? And the fact that, you can come to this charity and you do provide much needed support for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Being diagnosed with a life-limiting illness just changes everything in your life. You thought you had your future plotted, and then you get this terrible diagnosis, and it kind of throws a wall up in front of you and in front of everyone that loves and cares for you.
Right.
And people used to think that hospice was there just for the end of life, those final few hours and days, but modern hospice is extremely different. And we like to see people coming to the hospice, early in their diagnosis, because at that point we can really help them and we can really help the people around them, so that they're more aware, better prepared, feel as though, that hospice has got its arms around them and is supporting them in all the different ways that they need support, and that that can be pointing them in the direction of perhaps some advice about maybe financial problems. It could be that they just need to have a chat with a family support worker because they can't see what the future will look like without a loved one. It could be that there's it's often young people that we're caring for that have young families, and how do you go about explaining to your children what's happening to their parent or their grandparent, and the hospice has the expertise to help families cope with that, to do that, and to help children come to terms with what's happening. We have a very active bereaved children's group. We have an active siblings support group, so where perhaps in the children's hospice we're caring for the poorly child. We also provide services for their brothers and sisters.
And of course that's what it's all about with the Butterwick Hospice. It's about care.
It is, yes, it is. the care standard is incredible, and I'm incredibly proud of the team that work within the hospice and within the community. They are so dedicated to what they do, and they're surrounded by some very passionate people who volunteer for the hospice, who volunteer in their hundreds across the North East to help Butterwick Hospice, because they believe so strongly in the work that the hospice does, and often have experienced, they've been on the receiving end of that care and support, and they really are passionate and dedicated about working with us.
And I think you've hit the nail right on the head there. It's passion, it's dedication, the support, that it's volunteers as well, isn't it?
Yes. Well, there are at the moment about 650 people volunteering across the organisation, and they are involved in every area of the hospice. Some working within the building, helping to care for the patients by making sure that they get the meals delivered on time, that there's always a cup of tea and a bicky for visitors that are coming, that there's beautiful flowers throughout the building, that the gardens are well kept. Lots and lots of volunteers working in our shops, and then the shops are so important to us. They're often the closest that many people come to the hospice. They'll come into a Butterwick shop and spend their money and donate lovely items for us to sell, or they'll work in the shop sort of. They'll be sorting the goods that come in. They'll be making sure that everything is nicely displayed and that customers are made very welcome.
Yeah, so it's very hands-on.
It is.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It is. Yes, and we we have a saying within the hospice that that Butterwick is one big family, which is what our founder Mary wanted it to be. And when you join the Butterwick family, you feel as though you're really a part of something, and you're doing something very valuable within the community.
So from Mary's vision, it's just really blossomed, hasn't it?
It has, yes, and it's done that because Mary had a very clear vision of what she wanted the hospice to be, from experiencing the loss of her own husband, which was within a couple of weeks of his diagnosis, and the lack of care and the lack of support that she experienced at that time for him, for herself, for her children. She really knew it couldn't be like that. There had to be more. There had to be more compassion. There had to be more information. She didn't really understand his illness, what was happening, and I think families need a lot of information, and they really need to understand their situation and their challenges, and need to understand how they can face those challenges with support and go ahead,
Yeah. Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick record so you can have a Slurpee your drink. Don't want your drink to go cold. We have Jackie Firth from the Butterwick Hospice here in Ignition Radio. We'll be chatting more after George Michael. George Michael and Aretha Franklin, and I Knew You Were Waiting. In the studio Ignition here at Hope House this morning, we have Jackie Firth from the Butterwick Hospice, and of course we're talking about the Butterwick Hospice Trust. Right, Jackie, now, you have events coming up.
We have lots of events coming up. Christmas time is such an important time for the hospice. We try to make Christmas very, very special for our patients and families, obviously, with it, within the hospices. But it's also a good time for us to fundraise and to provide lots of opportunities for people to come along and join us and have a great time. And feel good about the fact that they're supporting the hospice.
Of course, Christmas is one of the busiest times of year for you.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're always mega busy, but Christmas it just gets so much more so. But
well, if you need a Santa,
thank you very much.
I'm available for bar mitzvahs and for parties. Right, so of course you have events coming up. So what have you got coming up?
Yes, yeah, there were the sort of things that we've got this month. Tomorrow afternoon we have a ladies' afternoon tea. And this is a very nice event with delicious little cakes and sandwiches and what have you. But we're looking at glamorous designer hats tomorrow and luxury Scotch eggs. So that's a very nice ladies' event. We have a baby's clothes sale coming up on Saturday. Play your cards right in the Cross Keys at Hamsterley on the 10th. Of November. We've got a shopping bus trip going to Leeds on the 14th of November. And Leeds, of course, fantastic shopping centre, so it's great, to get some of the things ticked off your list. We also have a Christmas fair at the hospice in Stockton on the 14th of November as well, so everyone's welcome to come down to the hospice that Saturday, and we'll have loads of craft stalls there, games for the kids. Santa's coming to collect the lists of what everyone would like, and there's lots of refreshments. There's a sportsman's dinner taking place on the 19th. We've got a girls' night in, which is a really fun thing for the ladies, on the 20th. There's another shopping trip going to the Trafford Centre in Manchester on the 28th. And a first for us, we're having Santa on a motorbike touring the North East on the 29th of November. So all of those things are available on the website at butterwick.org.uk/events. There's a nice calendar there that shows you everything that's coming up. Or just ring the fundraising office on 01642 628 930 and the team will be very happy to tell you about the events that are coming up.
Wow, so the social side is very busy.
Very active all of the time, yes.
I was just thinking about your first event. Can you order me dress now, please? Yes, thank you. Right, so now, I've just been looking at my notes. You have very varied ways of dealing with this thing. Holistics.
Yes, very much an holistic way of caring for people. So we look at all of the different ways in which a person can be affected by a life-limiting illness and try to help. So the sort of things that are available are obviously the medical care that's available, and we're very good at controlling the symptoms of life-limiting illness. So patients will often come to the hospice for day care, and that's usually the first way that they will approach us, and they'll come every week on a particular day. They'll have a fantastic day out with us. They'll meet lots of other people who are in a similar situation to themselves, and whilst they're with us at the hospice they can speak to our specialist nursing team, they can speak to the family support team and voice any concerns they've got about how the family is coping, and that they're so good and so practiced at what they do. They're very, very helpful. People suffer from stress. They suffer from sleeplessness, anxiety, all of those kinds of things naturally when you're very frightened of what's happening. And we're able to offer them complementary therapies such as aromatherapy, relaxation sessions, and all kinds of different techniques that they can learn and then use at home to help calm them and help them rest, help them sleep. And those kinds of support are available to their carers and, you know, to family members. And everything that we provide to the patient and their family is completely free of charge. So, you know, it's a £4 million business that we give away.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So yes, it is all very much holistic care. So we try to look at, you know, the physical side of care, the emotional side of care, the spiritual side of care. It's all about how do we help people to have a feeling of well-being. Even though they're not well, how do we create a feeling of well-being and help them to cope?
Now, the thing is, if people can't come to the hospice, do you do home visits?
Well, this is something that we are looking at, actually. We did have what we called an out-of-hours service in this area, in the Stockton Borough, for a number of years. And it was funded partly by the NHS at that time, and it was a fantastic service. It ran from 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. and supported people in their own homes. Unfortunately, because of the cutbacks, the NHS had to withdraw their funding for that service, and we couldn't fund it ourselves entirely, so it had to stop. And you know, we were devastated at that, because everybody really benefited from that service. It was there to support the GPs, it was there to support the district nurses, it certainly supported the patients and their families, and we were devastated when we could no longer carry on with that.
Yeah.
We do have a service at home in our South Durham area. We have our palliative home care team there, and they provide support within the patient's own homes for anything between 3 and 8 hours a day or a night.
Yeah.
And that's basically to support the family and give the family a little bit of time off, a little bit of rest, because it is hard. It is hard for them. Yeah. And they feel so helpless at times, you know, and just want some reassurance that they're doing the right thing, that they're caring for their loved one in the right way. And having the support of the hospice there is very important.
Right, so as I say, we could go on all day about this. This is an absolutely fantastic charity that you work for. And with the events coming up, again, the website is? It's
butterwick.org.uk, and on there you can find out about all of our services, and you can find out about all the different ways that you can support the work of the hospice to ensure that we can do as much as we can for as many as we can. So every little bit of support is very welcome.
Yeah, and the telephone number?
The telephone number, if you have an inquiry about patient services, then it's 01642 607742. And if it's any kind of inquiry about raising funds, then it's 01642 628 930.
And of course, you're always looking for volunteers.
Always looking for volunteers. Again, on the website, you'll be able to see all of the different roles that volunteers do. within the organisation, and you can apply online as well.
Lovely. Well, Jackie, thank you ever so much for coming into Ignition Radio this morning.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And, of course, a big congratulations for all the work that you do. I mean, you know, £4 million, it may sound a lot of money, but when you think of all the services that you provide, then, you know, you need to raise more, don't you?
Absolutely. If we can raise more, we can do more, and we do really want to do more, so please help.
Well, good luck with your events as well.
Thank you.
I think the dress is on order, so I'll be there for the Ladies' Day, matron. But no, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You.
And
Thank
of course, if you want to know more, you can go onto our website, www.ignitionradio.co.uk, and all the information that Jackie has been talking about will be on that website as well. Jackie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Right, the time, it's 5 minutes past 11.